All right, so there seems to be very few people joining this today's session. I guess being the last session for this term, this could probably be one of the reason. Well, not sure. Okay, anyway, so we'll start with what we have planned for today's session. So what we'll be demonstrating today is to know how you can integrate a mailing feature in your application. Like if you need to send out emails to your clients or whoever has subscribed to your application, how could you do that? In one of the previous session, we have already seen that how you could integrate a Celery system with your Flask application. We also saw that how you can create webhooks and can send messages via Google Chats. Now, today we are just going to discuss that mode of communication has slightly changed. So we'll be communicating with our clients via emails. So that is what we are going to do today. We are going to use SMTP lib Python package for doing that. Now, once we are done with this demonstration, you could also simply integrate it with your project as well, where you are supposed to send some daily reminders. Maybe you could even go with webhooks for sending those. But in case you want to send monthly reports to the user on a specific day of a month, in that case you would definitely require email, because you need to attach and you need to also send an attachment with the email that is going to be a kind of PDF report, or maybe if you would like to adopt some other method. So yeah. All right, so today's agenda is going to demonstrate that how you can integrate mailing feature with your application. So I would like to request Narendra to take it over from here.
Thanks, Abhishek. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So I'll share my screen and then we'll start the session. So we'll start with creating the directory first. Mail service I'll create. And so the first thing, what we are in this session, we are going to use the MailHog. MailHog is a mail client, and it provides you a fake SMTP server. So you can go to the MailHog page, GitHub page, MailHog download, and you can go to the github.com, and here you can go and check. And from here, for the Ubuntu, if you are using the WSL, then you can install using this command. So I have already installed the MailHog. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just run this MailHog, and we'll start using that. So all you have to do, you have to run this command in order to run. The MailHog is inside the Go folder, Go and then bin and then MailHog. So you can see once I start this service, you can see that it has started a SMTP server on port 1025, and you can also like access the web UI of this MailHog using this port 8025. I'll go to the MailHog localhost 8025. So you can see the web UI of the MailHog. So whenever I'll send the message, the messages will come here, and so this is the new thing which we are going to use. So I hope you guys have already installed this, because Tej sir was using this MailHog in his uh, screencast. So have you installed this?
No, sir.
It's pretty simple. You go to the MailHog download page, the GitHub page, and then see how you can install this on the Ubuntu system or Debian system. You just have to run this command and run this command to like start the server, the SMTP server.
Got it, sir. So we don't have to download that latest release for our platform, right? We just use the command line.
Yeah.
Got it, sir.
Okay. Now, so in order to like send the mail, so I will be using SMTP lib. SMTP lib, you don't have to install that library, but I'll create the virtual environment because I'll need some libraries to install. SMTP lib, you don't have to install, it comes with the Python by default. But I will require the Jinja because I will be using the template to like, I will be using the template to create a HTML and then will send to the client. So for that purpose, I will need the Jinja tool. Python. Okay. So what I will do, I'll first create one file. I'll call it main function here, and inside this main function, I'll create a function send mail, which I will use in the other module to send the mail. This will be the main function. That's why I am calling it main.py. So if you remember, do you guys remember the MIME type from the MAD one? MIME type of a document. So I'll just quickly go over the MIME type. So what MIME type does, it indicates what kind of document it is, like what is the format of the document. So like if it is a image, so it will be image and slash it. You also have to give the subtype of your document, like it's more specific detail of that document. So structure of the MIME type, you can see that the structure of the MIME type is type and subtype. So type can be a text and the subtype can be HTML or plain text. So the MIME, basically in short, the MIME type represents what kind of document it is, what is the format of the document. And in web browser doesn't like web browser need the content type like MIME type to process the request, because you don't when you attach something in your request, you don't write the .py like the extensions. You don't write. You write the content type, and the content type, based on the content type, the browser decide how to process the request, or the server, if you are sending, if the content type is in the request header, then the server decide how to process the request based on the content type, because the content type like describes what kind of document it is, what is the format of the document. Is it it is a text, is it a text file or audio file, video file? So the MIME type is generally of like the structure of the MIME type is like the first you write the type and then you write subtype. The subtype is the more specific detail of that document, like the text and the HTML, text and the plain, video and like audio. Uh, you can see the image is the type and the JPG is a subtype. And here is the most important part for our for this session. So you can say that the types can be classified into two parts: the discrete and the multi-part. The discrete, in the discrete type, you specify the MIME type, but in the multi-part is like collection of multiple MIME types. So the multi-part document has the multi-part content has multiple parts, and each part can have the different MIME type. So why I was like revising the MIME type, because I will be creating a mail which is of MIME type multi-part. So that multi-part, I mean, the mail will have multiple parts, like whom to send the mail, who is sending the mail, or what is the subject of the mail, what is the content of the mail. So you need to create a multi-part message. Is there any question till now? Import multi-part. So this is the class we are going to use to create a multi-part part message. And from email.mime dot text import MIME text. So this class we are going to use in order to create the message whose MIME type will be of text. I mean that the subtype can be email, or subtype can be HTML or plain text, but the MIME type, the type will be of type text. And I will be using SMTP lib. So these are the three things I require. And before I start sending the mail, we need to tell our mail service that which SMTP server we are going to use. So in order to tell our application which SMTP server we are going to use, we need to set two configurations. Server SMTP host, and host will be localhost, because we are using the MailHog, and the port we are going to use the port. Okay. We are going to use the port 1025, because you can see that the binding to the address is 1025. I mean the SMTP server is running on the port 1025. Yes. 1025. Yeah. So we are going to use the service, the SMTP service with the host localhost and the SMTP port. The port is 1025, and we know it from here. And then we need to set two more things like sender address, sender address, address. Let's say I will write something. Sender address. I will be sending the mail uh, as a with the sender address narendra@gmail.com. You can write your email if you are building the application. Sender, you need to give the password. And the password, let's keep it empty. So we are going to send the email on behalf of narendra@gmail.com. So whenever I'll send the message, it will go from this email ID. This is the fake email ID. So don't worry about it. Now I will start writing the main function, send email. Send email. And whenever you are sending the mail, you need to specify, I mean, whom you want to send the mail. So it will be stored in to address. And what is the subject of your mail? Subject of the mail. And then one more thing, you need to specify what is the message of the mail. So these three things you need to specify. Whenever you will invoke the send mail function, you need to specify to address, subject, and the message. And what I said that we are going to create a multi-part message. Multi-part message means the message which will have multiple parts. That is, the MIME type of the message will be multi-part. So I will create the object first, MIME multi-part, and then I will start creating the multiple parts of the different parts of this message. So the message of the two, so it will be to whom you want to send the message. It will be the to address, and then MSG from. It will write the from means on like who is sending the message. So we have already said the sender address will be the from of our message, the sender address. So to from, and then we will need the subject, message, subject, and it will be the subject which we'll get when we'll invoke the function send email. Subject. Okay. Now we have most of the things we have already covered, like the message to whom you want to send the message, and the from who is sending the message and the subject of the message. So we created a multi-part message, and we have specified these three parts, and the last part is the message itself. Message dot attach. We'll use the attach method, and then we'll create a message of the MIME type, MIME text. I mean the MIME type of the message will be text, and the subtype, the type, the subtype will be HTML. MIME type, MIME text, and then I'll pass the message, and I'll also specify the subtype. It will be HTML. Let's start with the HTML. And then so I have attached the message. So I have like written all the parts of the message. And now what I need to do, I need to establish a connection to the SMTP server. So we'll be using SMTP dot SMTP. Let's call it as SMTP lib dot SMTP, and then I need to specify the host. Host will be the server host, and the port will be the server SMTP port. So using this statement, we are establishing a connection to the SMTP server. And now what we are going to do, we are going to SMTS dot login, and then s dot login, and here I need to provide the sender address and sender password. Sender address and sender password. So this is how the first we have established a connection to the SMTP server, and then we have login to the SMTP server, and now I will send the message. Is dot send message, and the message will be which the message we created, the multi-part message we created, send dot message, and then we will cut the connection. S dot quit, and then we will return something. Let's return true. And if everything is right, then we will be able to send the message. Send and to address, let's mahendra@gmail.com, and the subject from subject, and then message hello. So let's try to send this message. Okay. Three mail dot py. Okay, let's go and check whether the mail has been sent or not. So if you come here, then you can see that there is a mail here with the subject, some subject, and the message hello. So this is how you can send a mail. Any question?
One question: when it is a MailHog, it is just a server, right? We are not actually sending mail to the
No, no.
Yeah, it's just a box,
Yeah,
correct? Yeah.
yeah, it's just for development.
Okay.
So all you have to do, you have to change this SMTP, the host and the port and the address and the sender password. You generally don't write it here. You create a .env file and then you put all this secret data in there. All the
Okay.
secret data, yeah.
Okay.
But if you want to send the mail to the real mail, like to the Gmail, to someone's Gmail, then you need to have a service which provide the SMTP service. Like,
It's like SendGrid. We have to use some SendGrid.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
So MailHog is just for development. But everything will be same. The only thing will change the this server SMTP host and port and the address and password. Only these things will change. Other than that, everything will be the same.
Okay.
So any question till now?
No, sir. Okay.
Okay. So for now, what we will do, we will use this send email. First thing I will do, I'll just
Hello, sir.
yeah.
For sending the actual mail, what will be the host and the port number you have to give?
I mean, you'll have to explore that.
Okay.
Google also provides the SMTP service, but you need to like set up all those things. I mean, you need to go. You go and explore this Google thing.
First, you need to authenticate
Yeah.
yourself that you are the correct sender. Okay. Then only you can send. Like we are using Azure SendGrid. Okay. So you need to be there's a mail limit, 1,000 mail you can save per day, and you have to do authentication. It is a company or firm. You cannot send any fraud mail or something like that. That's why it is restricted now.
So in the
If-
project, then what we will do, I think it required to send mail in the project thing.
Yeah, for that you need to set up an account on the Google, like it's a separate account.
So I have to look it then.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, sir.
And yeah.
Sir, like how to send images and graphs inside the message?
Yeah, you there. I mean, you can explore this the multi-part object, and there are multiple methods to attach.
Okay, okay.
It's just an HTML message we are trying to send here. So the MIME type is text. So you can explore what is the like function to. I mean, you can go to the SMTP lib and it has all these things documented.
Yeah,
And you
okay,
can
sir.
get
Got it.
easily on the internet. So today, what I want to do, I want to send the message. I mean, I want to integrate this with the Flask application. So that's why I'm not going very deep into it. So once you understand the basic setup, you can like explore the SMTP later. So what we will do, we will create one template, one folder. Mail templates, and inside that I will create one HTML document. Welcome mail. Welcome.html. So inside the welcome.html, okay, let me copy the HTML. It's just an HTML. There's nothing inside it. Nothing special. It's just a simple HTML. So these are the meta tags, and nothing is special here. It's just a HTML with it's a Jinja template. I will be creating the. So if you remember from the MAD one, the way inside the Jinja template you use the double curly braces to put the variables and nothing else. So you already know these things, how to create the Jinja template. And then what I will do, and inside the main, first thing I will do, I will just split this main, then only send this message. And send welcome mail .py. So inside the welcome mail.py, what I will do, I will read read this welcome.html here and use the send mail which is inside the main.py to send the mail. Like for now, what we are doing, we are just sending the hello message. We are not attaching a full-fledged HTML. So for that, we need to install the Jinja. So I'll first install the Jinja in our virtual environment. Jinja 2. Okay. Now from Jinja 2, import template. So we will be creating a template object. I hope you remember how you create a Jinja 2 template. With open, and we will be opening this file welcome.html dot mail templates slash welcome.html. We will opening this in the read mode as let's call it F, and then we will create a template object. Template is equal to template, and then F dot read. So what will happen? If you remember the way you create the template, you pass an string. So if you when you read this file, the mail template welcome.html, then it will pass you. I mean, it will pass you a a string, and based on that string, you create a template object, and then you can use the render method to like generate the HTML. The template is equal to template f.read. Now, and what I will do, I will just from main import send email. And then I will send email and then we will be this time we will be using this Jinja template. So the sender will be let's call it and then we'll subject some subject I will write some subject, and then we'll pass the message, the HTML message. Template dot render and then you can pass the user okay, it should be a string. So if you see the welcome.html, the only variable we are using is the user, nothing else. Everything is static, just a standard HTML file. Nothing special here. The only variable we are using is the user. So I will pass. I am passing the user variable to this template, and based on that variable, it will generate a HTML, and that will be sent to the user through this mail. Okay. So send welcome mail. Template.render user is equal to Mahendra. Let's check it. Let's try to send this mail. Welcome mail.py. Let's go here and check whether we have got the mail. Yeah, we have got the mail, and this looks something like this. So this is the only variable part here, but you can read from the database and make a nice template, and then you can send it to the user. The point of demonstrating this is you can create a HTML template, and you can send the like rendered HTML by that template to the user. Any question? So what I did, I created a HTML template and which has one variable Jinja2 template, which has one variable user. And then I read that, I opened that a template, and then I created a template object. And if you remember the Jinja, how the Jinja work, you create a template object and then you pass the, you use the render to generate the HTML and you pass the variables. So this is what we are doing.
Even this, it is a dynamic Jinja, then also it will go and do all the calculation and then it will print, right?
Yeah, it's already dynamic.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, user is coming from the welcome.py file, coming from here.
Okay.
I will change Mahendra to Gajendra, and if we'll try to run this again, and if you see, we have one more message. Everything is same, but you can see that the name has changed.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
I'll delete all the messages. So now let's say you want to use this with your Flask application. So you don't have to do anything. You can use this send email message. You can use this send email message to like send a mail even from the Flask application. So let's create a Flask app. app.py. For that, we need to install the Flask. On Flask. Okay, now we have Flask. So what we'll do, we'll create a simple application from Flask, import Flask, and then I'll create a Flask instance, Flask, and then app.route, and then let's slash user, and I will call it username. So this is the dynamic part of the URL, username. So you need to pass the username, and then I'll define the view function. I'll call it user view, and then for now let's pass it here, and then write the write all other things like if name is equal to main app.run, and then I will put the debug is equal to true, and then let's send the port 500. Let's return something here. Return user. Okay, need to pass the username here. Username. Now, if I will try to run this application, so Python app.py. Let's check whether it's running. It is running on the port 507. Okay, 5007. I'll just type it here. Localhost 5007 and slash user slash, let's write my name. So it's working fine. So what I will do, I will just I will import this main function, mail function from main. Import main import from main import send mail, and then I will use this send mail, send email to, let's say, Mohan @gmail.com, and then subject welcome, and then what I will do, okay, you need to get the read the template first. If you want to send the let's send a simple plain text. Hello. I'll use f string. Hello, and then use the name. So if I will try to hit this endpoint again, let's see whether it has sent the mail. Okay, here. So we have got one mail which says hello Narendra. So you don't have to do anything. You just create one send email function, and you can use it anywhere, even with your Flask application. So the main main point of this this whole thing is the send email function. How you create a multi-part message, and then how you can connect to the SMTP server and then send a login and send the message. I mean, you can send a lot the different kind of message. All you have to do, you have to explore a little bit. And these are just functions. So, and this is how you can create the Jinja template, and you can use this Jinja template to generate a customized HTML to send the mail, and then you can send the mail. And if you want to send it from your Flask application, this is how you can send the mail. And if you you can use this, you can open this Jinja template here, and then you can send that the HTML, the template you have created. the HTML generated from the template, you can also send it from this endpoint. Like if you with open mail template and then I'll use it the read mode as if, and then template is equal to, I need to import from Jinja to import template, and then here you just have to read this file which you have opened, f dot read, and then you can, here you can like pass this template, the rendered, the HTML from this template, the template dot render, and then user is equal to username. So if I will send a mail again from, let's change the name here. Okay, what happened? Okay.
Showing error in line 11. Template.
Yeah. It was because of the debug equal to true. Because if you set the debug equal to true, it runs the program like periodically. So if you will be late on some line, then it will just read that line and say the syntax there. So now if we'll go here to the MailHog, then you have one more message. And okay, this was the previous message. I will delete this message. And you have this message. So hello Abhi, and then you have all these words here. So you don't have to do anything special in order to integrate it with your Flask application. So the crux of this send mail is that only that function. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. So you can, so let's say you are using a database, and you can read the data from the database, and then based on that data, you can generate a HTML. You can create an HTML template using Jinja, and then you can pass those variables to that template, and you can generate a HTML and then send it to the user. And so I have already created a Celery application. So we can use that. So let's say you want to use it in the Celery application. So I have already set up all the tasks and workers. You don't have to do anything. So I thought it will take more time, but I mean, it finished quickly. So what I will do, I will create a task, Celery task, and then use that and use that task to send the mail. So for now, what we are doing, we are sending a mail and then waiting for that mail to be sent. If you are using it directly in the Flask application. But if you want to just send the mail, you want to send the mail asynchronously. So you can use the Celery. You can use the Celery task. You can use the workers, the Celery workers, to send those mail for you. So I'll quickly go over this Celery. So inside the Celery, we have inside the task.py, we have a simple task. Just say the hello. Just whatever you pass, it will just return. Simple. And inside the worker, what we are doing, we are just we have imported a Celery, we have created a Celery object, and whatever the task we will be running, will be running it inside in the Flask context, in the application context. So you can do the database operation. If you will not run the task in the Flask in the application context, you will not be able to do the database operations. Like whichever the data is like specific to the application, you will not be able to use if you will not run this task in the Flask in the application context. So we have created a new context task. We are calling it context task, and all we are doing, we are invoking that function, but inside the application context. So this is and if you go to the app.py, we are so what we are doing, rather than using the cell, and we have imported that Celery, and when we will run the Celery application, we will be running this Celery, not the Celery we have created inside the workers. So and after that, we need to give the broker URL and result backend. You know the broker URL, how the Celery works. All the the application will throw the messages to the broker URL, and then broker URL will distribute the task to the workers, and then once the workers finishes the task, it will give it back to the result backend. So I am using the Redis for both the result backend and broker URL. So the database indexed with 1, I'm using for the broker URL, and the indexed with the 2, I'm using for the result backend. And now, so whenever we are not going to call the task of the task function of the Celery, we are going to use the context task. So we have override the task to the context task. And this is a simple task. This is how you create a task. So rather than waiting for the job to complete, we are not using the wait. We're just pushing the task in the broker URL, and then we are just returning. So if you want, you can wait for the job to complete, but this is not why we are using Celery. Yeah. So is the setup like clear for you guys? You already have, like, there was a session for the Celery. So we have already covered the Celery in the live session, and I have just created a Celery application. So you guys should know how to create a Celery application. So whenever someone will hit the base URL, it will just start the task, print hello, and pass the value Narendra, and then return the job ID. if we'll write the job, it will return the job ID. And maybe it's running on the port 5000. And let's go here and check whether the Redis server is running. Yeah, Redis server is running. Is the Celery running? Let's make a request to this Celery application. And localhost 5000. Let's rerun this Celery. Okay, the application is not running. I'll just close it. I'm not running this application, that's why we're facing this. WSL. Then what I'll do, I'll run this application. Python 3 dot py. Okay. Now let's go and check. This is the job ID, and if you go to the Celery, to this console, to this terminal, then you can see that we have a task which completed in 0.75, and its result is Narendra. So what I'll do, I'll just create one more task. I will create one more task here. Task.py. Celery task and then this and welcome mail. Welcome mail. And welcome mail. And then I will pass all those things to this task, like the sender mail, I mean, to email, the receiver mail, email, and then the subject, and the message. Subject and message, I will not pass, I will pass the user. Username. I'll pass the username. And here, if you, so all these mail services are inside this one. I mean, this application has messed up because I have created two virtual environments. But you can create one virtual environment and one folder for the Celery and one folder for the mail services. I'll make it. New file. So inside the task.py, okay, should be inside the mail service. From mail services dot mail templates dot from mail services import mail. Okay, let's not do this. I'll only from mail services dot mail import send email. So I will import this inside our Celery app, and then here what I will do, I will just open this file with open, and then dot double dot slash mail services slash mail templates slash welcome.html. I'll open it in the read mode, the standard stuff as F. So I have opened this file, and then I'll create the template. Template is equal to, so for that we need to import the from Ninja to import template. Inside the template, what you will do, f dot read. So we'll read this file as a string, and now you will use this send email method, and then send email, and then inside here you pass the receiver mail, and the subject which you will get from here is, and the username you will use template dot render, and then you pass the user is equal to username. So I am creating this task similar to what we did in the Flask application. That the simple Flask application which we created last time, the mail services. Inside the mail services, what I'm doing, I'm just opening that file, the welcome.html, and reading that file, and then generating a HTML based on the parameter, and then sending the mail. That's it. And then I'll return the mail sent. So I have created the task. All I have to do, I have to like invoke this task when someone hits some URL. So for that, I need to create a route, and then here user slash username, and then I will create a function. Let's call it function. Send mail, and then I'll create a job. So username will be passed from here, and then job is equal to Go to task dot send email. Okay. The name of this task. Send welcome mail. Send welcome mail, and the name, let's call it Ravi at the rate gmail.com. So this is the email ID and the subject celery task, and then I will pass the username. I hope everything is fine. So with sender email address and then the subject and the username. This is what this task is taking. Subject receiver mail. Yeah. Then let's return. And let's start with the job ID. Py. What happened? Task.py. Mail service. Mail service dot mail import send email. Email. Let's not waste time. I will just copy this main.py inside here. Main.py is fine. So inside the task.py, what I will just use from main import send email. There is some import issue. That's why I have just copied and pasted. I mean, I have not copied, I have cut and pasted the main.py inside the Celery. So now if I go here and then try to user plus mail sent, it says, and let's go and check whether the mail is sent or not. Yeah, so we have sent a mail here. Is there any question? So we can create a task. What I have done here, I'll just go through it quickly. So what I have done, I have created a task, the send welcome mail, which takes the receiver email subject and the username, and then open this template, the template which is inside this mail templates, and then send the mail to the user. And from the app.py, inside the app.py, what I'm doing, so once the user hits the URL user/username, what I'm doing, I'm just invoking this task, the send welcome email, and then returning this. That for now I am returning this job, the value of the job. So we have covered how you can create how you can send the mail using the SMTP lib, and how you can integrate that the send email function with your Flask application, and also how you can create the like create a Celery task, and whenever some user, and you can use it like anywhere. So once the user log in, you can send the user a email to the user that welcome to our website, and these are the services we provide in this kind of thing. Or you can send the daily reminder also, because you know how to integrate this send mail uh, send mail function with your Celery application. So all those things which you can do with the Celery, you can like integrate. You can send the mail for that, like the scheduled jobs. You can send daily, every morning. That, I mean, these are the tasks which you have to do today. I mean, you can do a lot of things. In short, you can send a mail. You can create a task which will send a mail, and whenever, and you can invoke that task from anywhere, from any endpoint, from controller or anything. So, do you guys have any question?
So sir, we can use the use this using Celery. Like if I do not use the SMTP lib and use only Celery, that is also fine, right?
No, you will have to use the SMTP lib. How will you send the message?
Okay, okay.
So I'm using the same the same send email function. The send email function I wrote in the beginning of this essay, and I'm using this send email function, and uh, I'm trying to demonstrate that you can use the send email function with with the controller. You can use it inside your task. You can create a task which will send the email, but you'll use this function, because without SMTP lib, how will you send the message?
Okay, okay. So for sending the email, we are using the SMTP lib,
Yeah,
and we are planning the task in the Celery.
yeah, because I mean, if you are using the Celery, you can schedule to send the message to this email. Like you can send this message 7 a.m. every day. At 7 a.m. every day, that it can be any kind of message. Like it can be like welcome message or good morning message, or you have some. I mean, you can send the report every morning. So to say like the scheduling of the job will be done by the Celery, but the sending the mail, the to send the mail, you need to use the SMTP.
Okay, sir, got it.
If you go to task API, what I'm doing, I have created a task and I'm using the send email function.
Yes, yes.
Anything else? If not, I'll just quickly review what we did today and then we can close the session. Then if you guys don't have any questions.
So this is clear, but I have a like general query. That is the token based authentication done in any live session? Like,
Yeah.
okay, okay. I will check that. I missed that live session.
So the token based authentication, like the API you can get from the GitHub. So it is on my GitHub page, and I mean how the backend part is not like discussed. Only the front end part is discussed.
Okay, I was doing the project, but I got confused that how should I design the API endpoints. That's why I'm asking.
So the API,
Like previously, I was doing the suppose in the login. Uh, in the login, I was passing the like username into the URL, like slash the username, and the password as the body.
Yeah.
But here we are like authenticating using token. Then do we have to like slash username that kind of endpoint, or like how can I do that? So that was my.
By
Is
the
it?
using username as a path variable. I mean, you could have sent the post method. I mean, you could have sent the username and password inside the message body, and you could have used the post method.
Okay, so you were telling that only one endpoint slash user, and inside that I can
Yeah, if you're using, are you using Flask security?
Yes, sir.
So if you are using Flask security, you don't have to do anything. The Flask security has inbuilt has an inbuilt endpoint /login include auth token
Okay,
/login.
okay.
Yeah, I'll write it in the chat. /login and then question mark include auth token. So this is already implemented by the whoever has created the Flask login, or I mean it's already implemented inside the Flask security. All you have to do, you have to make a request to the /login include auth token, and it will give you the CSRF token and the authentication token. But you need to like configure your Flask security application like that. Like there are some configurations you need to, there are some settings you need to do.
Okay, sir. Okay. And sir, what is the deadline of the project submission?
It's 30 September. Abhishek, I'll just confirm with Abhishek.
Shall I answer?
Uh,
Yeah, so Rakesh, since you are enrolled in this term, so the submission link would be activated on August 1st, and it will be stayed open till September 30th. So that means this entire window will be open for a duration of 2 months, and you can submit at any point of time. The advantage that would be given to the ones who are submitting early is that their Viva would be, conducted as soon as possible, so that they can enroll in the courses accordingly in the next term.
Okay, sir. Actually, the project may take some time, so that's why I asked.
Yeah, sure. Means, as I said, the window will stay open for a duration of 2 months. What we'll do is we will start processing the submissions for every week. Let's say, 1st to 7th August, we'll start processing for those submissions. We'll conduct Viva for those. Meanwhile, we'll also, keep processing the other weeks.
But for next term, I can take any number of courses, right?
Oh, there is a cap. You cannot take more than 4, right?
Yes, I mean, like I want to take the data science courses in the next term. So this like Math 2 is not completed, so it will not take any problem, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, if it is not a prerequisite for any of the course that you are planning to take in the next term, then it should not be a problem. If it's a prerequisite for something, then of course you need to complete it first before you get enrolled yourself into some other course that is dependent on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay,
data
sir.
science has no dependency on math.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you. Got it.
I have one two question regarding the project. In the project, because what we have seen in the live session, always we are running the API into another, you can say terminal or another Visual Studio Code, and the view application we are running from other Visual Studio Code. Then we are calling it. But in the project deadline, it is written that all the sources should be in your decided into the root folder. So what I understood that whatever the Flask API we are writing or the Vue.js we are writing, all should be in single project code, right? And we need to use multiple terminal to run all the process.
Yes.
Is my understanding correct?
Yes, correct. That necessity to put everything into a project folder is a must. Because if that is not present, your submission won't be validated at all, and of course there is no way that you can move forward with that submission. Yeah, such submissions would be rejected at the very first stage. They will not be even go through that level 1 by.
Yeah, you can create a root folder like the project, and then inside the project you will create 2 folders, backend and front end. And then inside the backend you write all your code related to backend, and then related to the API and all the Celery and all those things.
But whenever we are going to run this Celery or Redis, that we have to run into some terminal only.
Yeah,
terminals would be different, of course.
The terminal can be different. Like if you see the application which I was running today, I needed 3 terminals. But for the Redis server, 1, for the Celery, and then for the MailHog. And if I am running, if I will run the application from the terminal, I will need one more terminal.
No, what problem I am facing, the API I am running in the Flask API from the same terminal, and also I am running the Vue.js in the same terminal. So I can able to call in the same terminal, not in the same port. The ports are different. I'm using the live server.
Okay.
So I am able to communicate this API and I'm getting the data. But when I'm implementing this login, the Flask security login, it is not allowing from the same server. It is telling that this course, CORS course is not allowing to do it.
I think you have made you have made mistake. I mean, you have, like, I don't know if you show me the code, because I mean I got into something. I got in similar trouble. The mistake I made is, like, I copied the code from the course website, the course Flask course, and but there the course, I mean, the request was only allowed with the URL starting from the slash API.
Okay, slash API.
Yeah. So what happened? Then I realized that I need to, like, remove this slash API, and then everything started working.
So in the MAD one, actually, we have done this Flask card project, right? So I want to use that entire API. I will just change all the tables same, because the CRUD operation is almost same. What I read from the temperature or
you can use the exactly same API, but you just need to add a few additional endpoints.
Yeah, of course. So what I am unable to understand, when this Flask security API part, the UX part, I understood that we need to have an email ID and password we are sending, and then we are getting a returning a token, and for that token we can use the authentication. So next time it will not ask for the relogin. That part, but this Flask API, how you are configuring this login ID, that I am unable to find it. Even I have checked your source code. Can you open this week 9 this?
Let me try to explain you what happens. As Narendra has already given an endpoint in the chat to answer a question that was asked by Rakesh. You need to hit an endpoint /login along with that query parameter of include _auth_token. Now, when you send that request, it is meant to be a post request, and in that post request, the request body will have two things. One is the username, the other one is the email, I guess. There are two things. I am not exactly sure. One is for sure email.
Username, email, and password.
Okay, yeah. Email
by
and
default,
password.
it will take email and password, but if you want to use the username, you can configure that. You need to configure that in your application. But by default, you need to pass the username and email and the password.
Correct.
In the post request.
Once you make a post request, what it will give you back as a response is the authentication token. Now, once you get that authentication token, you don't need to send the credentials again and again with every request. What you need to do is you either need to send that authentication token as a header to each of your subsequent requests. The header name by default is authentication-token, or if you want, you can even send it as a query parameter. That query parameter by default is auth token, if I am not wrong. You can just get it from the documentation.
Authentication token.
So my question is this /login !include token. I need to create something as a route in the.
No, you don't have to do anything. It's already created in the Flask security. It's already implemented.
But how the Flask API know that I am going and hitting it? So I need to import something in my API Flask security in the API part?
No, nothing you have to do. You have to do nothing. I mean, you can think like there must be a module where they have created this endpoint. So when you like install the Flask security, you by default you have the access of this endpoint.
So you are telling I need to just create one app router, for example, /user login, and inside that, if I put my API and /login ? It will automatically, when my route is going to call, it will hit this URL, and automatically, if I will pass this email ID and password, it will able to get me the token, right?
Yeah, you don't have to implement it. This is already implemented inside the Flask security.
I read your live session 2-3 times, but I'm able to find from where it is coming. Okay. And what about this user model? I seen that the user model is also there. So we need to create one user model table also in my
It's
SQL,
mandatory.
right?
Yeah, it's mandatory.
It's mandatory. Okay.
Yeah,
And
and not only the user model, there are some fields that are mandatory. If you are using the token-based authentication, the FS unifier is mandatory.
signifier is
Yeah, email field is mandatory.
so
Password field is
okay, then means whatever you've written in the user pie, almost all the columns.
almost all the things are mandatory. You can extend your user class. You can add more fields, but almost everything is like mandatory there.
And then we need to implement as a post method, and whenever it will hit, automatically it will.
Yeah, you don't have to implement. You just have to make a request. Yeah, everything is implemented. Don't worry.
Okay, let me try it.
Yeah, but you are saying that you are getting the course error. So for that, I will say you check. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
check
will
the
just change
configuration
this
of the
API,
course.
Flask APIs, and let me try whether because my post is working. Means from the same I am just removing this. I just commented your login part, and I tried to fetch my data in the same Flask API from another terminal, but the source code is same. It is working. But when I'm putting login, so okay, I got it. So I have to put API/API. Okay, thank you.
No, slash API. What do you mean by slash API? I'm saying slash API. What I said, that, yeah, I made the same mistake. Like I was getting the course error, and I like realized that I have like allowed the course only for the endpoints which starts with the slash API. So you might have made the same mistake because you are saying that all the endpoints are working, the only slash login include token is not working.
But where I am putting this app, the Flask app, where I am opening, there only I have written the course app. Okay.
Yeah.
And but you are telling then how I am going to get this endpoint? Means where I need to write this course again? I'm getting confused.
No, you.
See, once you pass your app instance inside the course constructor, what it does is it automatically applies to all of the endpoints by default in your application. That means every endpoint that you have implemented in the application implements or is going to return course headers by default. If you don't mention any regular expression like Narendra is mentioning slash API and all, by default it works for every endpoint. If you do
I'm
not
not
specify.
putting on API.
No, don't do that.
Then it will work for every like endpoint. You can make cross origin requests.
Then I need to cross check. I think somewhere I am doing some silly mistakes. Okay, anyway, thank you.
Or in case you are still not able to find out the root of the issue, what you can do is you can try making a few opaque requests and see if those works or not.
Okay. Let me write one small separate code for this. Then I will implement in my main program.
Sure. Yes. Okay. So Narendra, you are done, right?
Yes.
All right. So are there any other queries from anyone?
Yeah, one more question. Sorry. In that project, we have written that we need to show some recommended graph. So there is any restriction that we need to use some particular, you can say framework, or we can use any graph API, or from the HTML we can just draw some graph.
Yeah, sure. Means you can do whatever you want. So what you are saying is that whether you should use any library for that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure. Means you can even use matplotlib, Sejon, or any JS library.
And for the sending mail, this MailHog is not enough, right? We need to send the actual mail to some Gmail or somewhere, right?
Even MailHog is fine.
MailHog is also fine. Okay.
Of course, if you want to implement some third-party services, you can do those as well. But MailHog is also acceptable, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Okay. Is there any other question from anyone else? All right. There seems to be no more questions. So Yeah, thank you all for joining with us in this session. I guess this was the last session in this term, as far as the 12 weeks are concerned. By the way, we are having one additional live session in the next week on Wednesday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. to do an end-sem revision. So we'll plan something that how do we basically go with that revision. So we'll come up with a plan. Yeah, we'll meet again on Wednesday at 4 then.
Thank you. Thanks for a good session.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.